I always wanted to be able to say to an audience, if there's anything that you will remember out of my speech today, is this. So this morning I was very happy with myself because I managed to craft this title. If there's anything that you will remember out of this speech today, is this title. And I will explain. It's a network of networks enabling money movement. And that's a statement we make as an organization that's pretty well known for the past 60 years as a card payments organization. So I hope people are hearing, and whoever is not taking notice, they will see it and feel it. Next slide. When Sergio mentioned the name of the conference, I was very happy because it had so many of open AI, open finance, banking in the open era. So I was very happy to realize that this is a lot of what the values at Visa have been for the past 60 years. If you look at what we do, we are about breaking barriers. We are about providing solutions to fragmentation. We are about resolving closed loops. Every time you have a product that we put out on the market, it's about opening that market. The word open resonates with us very much. So we've been the pioneer of card payments for over 60 years. I think we've managed to figure out card payments pretty well. We now, last financial year, have been able to move, to process 270 billion transactions. That's tens of thousands of transactions per second. So anyone who is thinking of building networks and competing vehicles has to think about how you get to this performance, not only in speed, but also security. And I'm talking about security at the end of my 4 or 5 slides. We've been moving and connecting 4 billion cards now, 15,000 banks, financial institutions, and I have to get it right, $14 trillion. This is the volume now. So quite impressive, and what we thought is that we would bring this knowledge and leadership outside of card payments because we have the network. And it's a direct network linking all of the banks that are active with all of the banks that are either on the sending side or on the receiving side of any money movement, right? So that's why in the past years, we started to think, why not especially provide seamless solutions for what is now extremely fragmented, cross-border. We have the technology, we have the AI, and I'm happy Dorian mentioned AI because now you know about generative AI, and I can tell that this year Visa celebrates 30 years of AI-based technology. And we spent, just in the last 5 years, $10 billion in AI to fight fraud, to enable fast and secure transactions. So, financial transactions outside card payments are still pretty clunky. They're still operating on rails that haven't had any innovation for tens of years. Think about it. Innovation is slow, has been slow, lack of transparencies, high UX friction, a lot of costs. And if a person that owns a business in Romania needs to make a payment to the US, good luck. Is Nick still around? Because I think he has some suppliers or some interest in sending money to the US, for instance. You don't know when the money gets there. You don't know how much money gets there because of the commissions and the way things work. Yeah. You don't know when, how much, if it gets all there. So the global opportunity for resolving this friction and streamlining payments is huge. If you look at these numbers, these are huge numbers that still are being moved through very clunky systems. Yeah, and everybody who has a business that requires moving funds outside even of EU, let's say outside of Romania, but outside of EU, knows the pain, knows this pain. So we're talking about these flows, and the examples are very clear. Think about a Romanian business paying for suppliers from EU or outside EU, as I said. Think of a large marketplace paying its small business sellers. Think of eBay or even eMag here. Think about businesses pushing payments to consumers for earnings, for insurance claims, for remittances, for reimbursements or rebates. Think about people just wanting to settle as a group for last night's pizza. One of us paid. How do we pay each other? As someone in the back may say, Revolut. For some people, for still a limited part of the people. But if you're talking about market-wide, there isn't something like that. Think about governments disbursing social benefits, or think about a crisis. Yeah, think about a big earthquake when you need to disburse payments the next day, not in 3 months. The next day or immediately in the morning after. How do you do that? You don't do that right now. You cannot do that. So, over and above these clunky ways that huge amounts of funds are being moved, in recent years, we've had COVID, we have customer expectations evolving tremendously, we've had new technologies, and we have regulations and new entrants. And all of this have combined to change our payment ecosystem fundamentally. Instant payments is the new word. Everybody wants instant satisfaction, and everybody wants instant payment or instant resolution of a purchase. Yeah, we're now in a time where speed is of essence. We cannot wait days to settle whatever bill. Not even for paying our pizza last night. Our friend is not going to wait for 2 weeks or 5 days or 3 days. They want it instantly. So it's slowly becoming the norm, instant payments. Domestic schemes are working on that, and you are most probably very aware of it. Today, 60 countries are pursuing the creation of RTPs, and probably in a few years, all of these countries will build their own RTP. However, there is no cohesion. Everybody has their own UX. Everybody has their own speeds, etc., etc. We are no longer citizens of one country, of even one continent. We are so connected. You have people or small businesses in Romania or in any other market needing to pay China suppliers, needing to pay Vietnam suppliers, or Bangladesh suppliers. All of this requires a cohesive, fast, reliable, and secure system. We believe we can offer that. And at the heart of this is a solution that we call Visa Direct. Many of you may not know it, but you are already the beneficiaries of this Visa Direct solution. I'm not going to talk about everybody, all the use cases, but you can see it kind of covers all of the new and old needs. Gig economy and freelancers. We've gone through COVID, and now we see gig economy rising in all of the markets. It's not a word that's being used only in the US or UK or whatever. We have gig economy in Romania and all of the other surrounding markets. These people want to be paid immediately, ideally. If you're a Glovo driver or a Glovo biker, you need money fast. You don't need to wait. You don't want to wait until the end of the month. Even if you're an Uber driver, you want money fast. Even if you're an employee, sometimes you do not want to wait for the end of the month cycle. This is possible, and actually we have companies that use Visa Direct to pay their employees midway in the payments, the salary payments cycle. Salarium in Romania uses Visa Direct. Next, e-com. Marketplaces. Marketplaces like eMag. They have a lot of small businesses now as suppliers. These small businesses rely on payments and on a very tight cash flow. They want to be paid fast. This can be used and is being used to pay small businesses by marketplaces. Instant refunds. eMag decided that they no longer want to provide instant refunds to their customers within 4 to 5 days, although those 4 to 5 days was 7 days less than the regulatory requirement. They thought, can we do it instantly? The moment the good is back in the easy box or the good has reached the warehouse, can we provide the refund immediately? Instant refunds powered by Visa Direct has now allowed eMag to uplift their sales by 5%, and customers do say this has increased loyalty and satisfaction. Account to account. Those of you who live in Romania know that we've recently have had a very interesting debate about the limitation of cash. And we went round and around and around, and we ended up pretty much where we started. But if we were asked to provide an opinion, we would have said something very interestingly. Yes, there is a problem in the rural areas of these countries where people, small businesses, have some money in their cash register, they cannot get it into a bank account. Well, what we would have said is that next year, the Romanian Post Office will launch cash-in deposits, which means these small business owner in wherever can go to the nearest post office branch with 1,000 lei, give it to the branch, and it would hit its bank account wherever he banks instantly. So there you go. That's the solution. And the Romanian Post Office, which has the highest, the largest footprint in the market, can offer that. Any bank can offer that, will be able to offer that. You will be able to go to a bank ATM, let's say Beceres ATM, and deposit, and your money will instantly hit your account at ING. And you no longer have to find your own bank's ATM. So that's possible. Cross-border remittances, of course. We are now in Europe, also in Romania, have a lot of people that come from Nepal, Vietnam, you've seen, Philippines, etc. These people send money or want to send money back home. This is being powered by Visa Direct. So, this is about relatively small amounts of money. But what about a Romanian or a Bulgarian bank or a big corporate that wants to send money to big suppliers or to a partner in Singapore? The G20 has recently issued a paper with the main objectives to streamline cross-border payments. They said this cross-border payments is marked by high cost, low speed, limited access to information regarding your payments, and insufficient transparency. So that is because this is happening in the flow. Complexity, it's a complex system. As I said, if you have to pay someone in the US, you have to establish business relationships in the US, which you cannot easily. Yeah. We have the technology that would allow such a business to be paid in the US, in US dollars, for their product, solutions, sales, whatever. So no more friction, and get the money. Slow transaction speeds, of course. I mentioned the more elements and the more entities are on this flow chain, the slower the transaction happens. Lack of security or risk controls. You have to know all of the security and risk regulations in all of these countries. It's not easy. It's actually very difficult, time-consuming, and quite expensive to be able to do that. When you start to look into GDPR, AML, OFAC, WTR, etc., etc. Fragmentation is what I mentioned. If 60 countries build their own thing, with 60 different user experiences, with 60 different requirements, it's not going to be easy for someone to navigate this system. Inconsistent user experience comes out of that. The more fragmentation, the more difficult and inconsistent the user experience. And new market entrants. It's hard for the banks, especially in recent years, to keep their treasury clients in light of the competition of much nimbler fintechs and new entrants into these markets. This is no longer someone just being able to get your clients to top up their card outside of their current account with your bank and paying with that card when they go abroad. This is about treasury clients, so things are getting big and threatening much faster if you lose treasury clients as well. So, what do we do here? And why do we think we have a solution? Well, first of all, reach. We have a global reach, and we are in a direct connection with most of the banks in 170 countries. Direct connection. We don't need to go through intermediaries. We don't need to pay different entities for you to get your money from A to B. We can accommodate that easily. And we can transfer in FX and local currency in more than 60 countries. Innovation. Because we have invested a lot in innovation, or either in our technology or because we've been able to purchase certain companies that also have their own networks, we can expand our network sort of as an umbrella over their network. Those of you who are in the system have heard of Currency Cloud, for instance, or Earthport. Yeah, you know they enable cross-border transactions, so having us behind them allows us to do this network of network. Reduced cost. A single connection to a global network of networks allows no hidden fees, allows predictability, and allows finality. With one of our solutions, we can say with confidence that we can provide this type of transfer at a third of the price that banks are paying today. And for known corridors, like the US corridor, our standard cost is $1 per transaction. Security. We have been, as I said, investing in AI for quite a long time. And we know that consumers, there are studies, although they love this UX, they love having easy access to whatever solutions, they love simplicity. 3 out of 4 customers still say security is paramount to their using a certain solution. And we know, although we can say fraud in Europe is 0.028%, something like, 5 times the rate of fraud, the global fraud rate, which is 0.1%. In Romania, if you want, even half of the European fraud rate, very low. But you don't want to be that 0.027% who's going to be hit. Because if, for instance, your money is stolen, you lose trust in that instrument. If your card or instrument doesn't work 3 times, you are not going to use that card or instrument anymore. So I will end with one slide, which shows that we are prepared to cover the risk side of this. So, in terms of mature payments, we have all of these solutions. So, looking at the security, which is high in card payments, we have to say, and I have to say, card payments are still the most secure payments around. Consumer protection is also high because card organizations have the zero liability policy, meaning if your money is gone from your card due to a transaction that you did not perform, the banks have the obligation to investigate, and if you can prove that, your money is being put back. The attack surface is small for card payments, smaller. So despite that, we have chip-in-pin, VRM. It's a risk manager tool that we have introduced, and it's worldwide quality, and banks are starting to get it now. Even 6 banks in Romania, I can assure me, Raluca, have it and are able to defend themselves. Click to pay, this is our guest checkout tokenization. We have this covered. And as you can see, we stop about close to 30 billion in fraud every year. Yeah. What about account payment? This is when it gets interesting, and this is where we say we have solutions there as well. Well, in account payment, security is lower than in card payments. Consumer protection, we believe, is slightly lower as well. And the attack surface is much higher because we're talking about full current accounts, savings accounts, etc. We have solutions like RTP Prevent and other solutions that could enrich this flow as well. And we are prepared to collaborate as well as compete in this space. Crypto and blockchain. This has been out for a little bit of time, and of course, it's unclear where regulators would go with this. But we already have solutions for this as well, and it revolves around wallet scoring, new identity services, alias directory for blockchain, and crypto token credentials. We're working on this. Of course, we are very interested in seeing what the regulators will be doing with this. Dorian presented up above all these cool things that ChatGPT is doing now. Well, some of us may know for every ChatGPT good deed, there's Dark GPT, there's Warm GPT, there's Dark Bard, where you can go and instead of saying, write me a wedding invitation, you can say, write me a phishing attack for a Romanian cardholder that banks with Bank X, and that GPT will do it for you. SMSs and emails now have become much more sophisticated. Deep fakes. We've seen this video of Joe Biden saying that the Romanian people is the greatest people on planet Earth.
Right.
Voice cloning. Microsoft has a solution that allows the cloning of your voice in 3 seconds. Okay? All of these show us that indeed generative AI has really upscaled technology and allows us to do whatever we want in a much faster and better way. The trouble is that it allows the dark side of the ecosystem to do the same thing faster, better, and so on. That's why we've invested 10 billion in the last 5 years in AI, because we need to be one step ahead, and we need to make sure that people's monies, businesses' money, government's money is well protected, always, at any time, in spite of all of these, let's say, developments and progress that the other side is making as well. So, I think I'm out of time. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, guys. Warm applause, Catalin.